You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting nerds, and come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world, and show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh at needs, gonna live the dream, gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting nerds, and come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world, and show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Yo,
Hey,
Hey guys.
PlayStation Collectors Podcast, Season 3, Episode number 6. And tonight we welcome Marty back to the show. Welcome, Marty.
Thanks for having me.
what's going on, man?
Yeah, all good. All good, thanks.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Marty. How have you been?
Yeah, good. Just playing a lot of Sega Saturn at the moment. This month I've had a new gameplay video every day from a massive backlog of games I've recorded, and got some really cool games, and most of them are full playthroughs.
That's cool.
Some got some obscure things like a Shin Megami Tensei Japanese exclusive, which I couldn't play longer than half an hour. Haven't got a clue what's going on.
It's cool to upload that content, though, because like a lot of those games might have 1, 2, or maybe even like no videos on YouTube. So, that footage, people...
Yeah.
I think
Interestingly, I got a lot of views on Crazy Ivan just for no reason. That got like 1,000 views in a day, which normally I'd get about 50 odd views or something, but for some reason Crazy Ivan just hit the jackpot.
that's you hit the algorithm. That's what just people were feeling that day. You
Yeah.
never know. Yeah, I always feel like if you're a JRPG fan, I think that's the bane of everyone's existence, is like how many amazing games there haven't been translated, and I swear like every real fan has tried. They're like, I'll just give it a go. I'll get a game and I'll see how far. You just can't. It's like you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Am I equipping gear, selling gear, using magic? What am I doing here?
I back in the day, I used to have Actraiser on the Super NES, Japanese version, and I didn't realize that had a simulation mode in it. Half of it is an action platformer, but the other half is a simulation, a god game, and that was all in Japanese, and so many options. You just had to work them out. No internet, nothing to help you.
Yeah,
Thank God now. I can play Japanese games with my Google Translate on my phone. I just show it. It translates live off the camera footage, so that's really useful. Cool. It's not perfect, but it's great when it rewrites things on the screen for you. I mean, not for story mode, but for options and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to select easy mode. That's all you need is easy mode in these games.
One of my buddies, Psyched PS2, who was on the podcast last year or so, he's collecting a full power PS2 set. On his YouTube channel, he's playing through every single PS2 game, and I find it interesting to go on his channel and view by like most viewed videos, because it's really interesting what games people want to watch. It's not the ones you expect. It's like completely out of the way. Go and check it out for yourselves. It would be really interesting.
Yeah, we'll do. That will take some time. I don't think you've got enough life to play all the PS2 games. How many are there? There's thousands.
There's like 2,200 or something. He's getting through it. He's been doing this for almost a decade now, and he's getting there.
Well, that's a good start. 10 years. But the thing is that a lot of them are longer, aren't they? They're not like an hour like the older consoles. most of them you're talking about 10 hours at least.
He doesn't 100% the games, but he plays through to like the credits, or if it's like a
Yeah,
game,
that's what I do as well.
No, he's got to play like all the Gran Turismos, get all the cars, all the upgrades, unlock everything. He's got to complete 100%.
I'm pretty sure he did at one point. Like, yeah, I
maybe it's just games he likes.
No, it's everything.
That's
The
badass.
viewers vote on what's next.
Yeah, I might. I do that sometimes, 100% of the game, but very rarely. It depends if I really love it or not, you know. But
Yeah,
like a Mario and a Zelda game, they're getting 100%ed every time. Except maybe not this Tears of the Kingdom though, because I haven't finished it yet because the way I was playing was trying to 100% it. So I was, marking off regions, with a guidebook and that, stuff that's really obscure and you're never going to find, because there's that much in the game and no waypoints or anything. But I started doing that and it was starting to get a bit long. I'm about 150 to 200 hours in and I still didn't bother finishing it. And so I keep thinking I need to get back and finish the bloody game. But
I'm the same. Every time I put it in, I can't play it for more than 5 minutes. It's just like, there's so much to do, and I look at my quest line, and I just like do this and that, and I'm just like, maybe I'll get back to it in a few more months. Let's put it down again.
Yeah, I did it for Breath of the Wild. I did about 200 hours the first go, and then when the DLC came out, I put another 100 hours into 100% it. So I was thinking maybe I'll do the same with this, but I was trying to not complete the game so that I've only got the boring bit to do at the end. 200 hours of boring bit. I wanted to split it through. Play story within the 100%, but then I ignored the story and I haven't even finished it in 150 hours.
I'm laughing because I did the same thing. Like, I finished all the recipes and I've was doing I haven't finished all the shrines, but I was like unlocking them all and on the underground. I was making sure I found every one of the lights. So like the whole map's explored. So once I actually want to play things, I don't have to unlock the map. And
the underground is a bit of a time waster, really. There's nothing really that interesting in there. I mean, it looks awesome, but I don't know. It just I like the fact that you go onto the islands on the top level in the sky, and you can unlock a treasure chest. You find a treasure chest, and that gives you a map into the underground. So it gives you a reason to explore the underground because you'll find a chest that you wouldn't have found just by exploring. It's well hidden. You'd only find it with that map. So I thought that was a good little bonus to get a good use out of the sky worlds and the depths.
I enjoyed some of the bosses they had in the underground too. They were like crazy hard compared to the normal bosses and things like that.
Yeah, they're much better than Breath of the Wild as well. Much more unique.
Or just seeing like dragons flying around in the first 15 hours of the game, and then you're 120 hours in fighting the thing that you see in that 15 hours.
Yeah. It's an amazing game. I just need to find some time because there's that many games that come out. I've got my retro games to do, and new games keep coming out all the time. I mean, I'm on the Prince of Persia just came out.
Yeah, that looks great.
It is excellent. I didn't even look at anything. I just caught a couple of screenshots and I thought that looks like it's going to be good. So I started playing the other day and on release day, and it's like, yes, it's a Metroidvania. Yes, my favorite type of game, and it is exactly that. It's just copy and paste Metroidvania, but putting its own spin on it, and I love it. It's it's right at the top end of Metroidvanias, and it's surprisingly large as well. The map is absolutely huge.
Okay.
Nice.
So,
Joe's told.
yeah,
No, I'm definitely picking it up. I don't want to pay $50 for it. I'm hoping
I'll
I
just
can get
download
cheaper
it.
than that. Yeah, that's true. And I just
Yeah. Oh, have you heard about the that Switch flash cart that's just been released?
Yeah, so that's going to be the topic of our show tonight. I named it. This is going to kill used Nintendo Switch games because there's a new Switch card out that let's talk about it right now. So it's called the Mig Switch, plug and play, easy backup, micro SD not included. So basically, the idea is to back up your games on the Switch, which sounds like a good idea. But if you do that, your games suddenly become locked to that account. And if you, say, for example, sell your games and someone tries to then play them, this was what happens. This is a post from, sorry, it's sideways, but this is a post from someone on Twitter saying they bought these games and then it didn't work. And this message came up.
No, that's a massive problem.
So basically,
Jesus.
people that use this and then sell their games, the games aren't going to be working, and you're not going to know until you plug them in.
Oh my god! So presumably every game has its own ID, and when you go online with that game, it gets registered.
It's basically like their download codes now. They're not carts anymore. Like that's
scary. Yeah, that can actually ruin gaming. I've got an interesting fact though. The reason why Nintendo can't go after them and stop its production like it does with everything else is because it's created and distributed in Russia. Now, Russia have relaxed their copyright laws a lot since the war. I think more since the war, and also Nintendo don't have a place there anymore. They had a studio there, not a studio, a supply. I'm trying to think of the word.
Distribution center.
Yeah. They had their own Russian Nintendo there.
I believe Sony was the same, and they're not in Russia anymore. But their products are still sold in Russia. Yeah,
so you won't be seeing any Russian exclusives anymore, which is a good thing for us collectors because they are the bane of a PAL collector trying to get the Russian exclusive versions. So expensive, so rare. The Wii U, my God, there was some Russian games.
The Wii U
so difficult to get. Yeah, but fortunately, I've got them all. Thanks to Pavel.
So with that Mig Switch thing, the way it works is they sell just the card by itself, I guess, which doesn't really do you much good unless you already have a modded Switch to play your games with. So did you guys watch Mad Little Pixel? Do you guys know that? I'm just going to give him a shout out because that's where all the information I have is coming.
No.
I watched his videos on it, and they sell a separate thing, which is like a dumper that you need to actually like copy your games over and dump them and make them into files. But if you do it the way you're supposed to do it, like you said, there's some sort of like ID that goes with the account and the game card. And you're only supposed to do it legally by backing up the games you already own. So if people do it the way you're supposed to do it, then I think what it appears to be doing is tying it to the account that it was used on. And so that those carts would still work in that Switch on that account, but they're not going to work on anybody else's. But if people use it, not to back up their own ones, let's just put it that way. If they use it for the other way, it's not going to really matter because it's you're just most weak.
So interestingly, though,
dumper anyway. But then it becomes like why wouldn't you mod your Switch in a different way? I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, I definitely think it's a concern because people handle video games a lot. Someone who's handling tens of hundreds of Switch games and can buy one of these things has the opportunity to do this and sell their games at the markets or sell them on Facebook where they're never going to deal with the person again, and that person's not going to know until they get home that they've been scammed essentially. You're giving people an opportunity.
They may not know. I can see a lot of people just being like, "Oh, I'm done my games. I'm going to sell them," and they have no idea. You know what I mean? That they don't even work.
I'm just thinking though, how can it not work? I mean, if if everyone's playing, for a lot of, like prior to this, when people were playing a game that they've downloaded, you know, say hundreds of people have played this game. Why doesn't this problem already occur?
I have no idea.
I've just realized it's because you don't play it online. When you've got a modded Switch, you don't put it online. So that's probably why it's not going online to check if it's been registered. But can I just pull something up on something you said, Joe? You said it only works on a modded Switch, already modded Switch.
If you don't have the dumper to dump your own files, because otherwise, how are you going to get it to work? I don't really know the technical aspects.
Are you saying just for the legal way of backing up your games? But
correct.
Let's be straight. No one's going to do that, right? You don't need a modded Switch to buy this device. You can just put ROMs on that you've downloaded off the internet. Is that correct?
I'm assuming that's the main thing people are going to use this for. Like,
I would assume there's no
go down the malicious route of.
So, like, apparently it works with every Switch as well. Every version of the Switch. Modding your Switch is you know, if you were to hack your Switch, it was very difficult. You could do it the software side if you had a specific version of Switch, but later on you'd have to buy a mod chip and solder it onto the board on later versions. But this cart is supposed to work on everything without hacking or modding, I believe, your Switch at all, because there'd be no point in it existing if you had to hack your Switch prior to it.
Anyway. I believe you're right there. It makes more sense.
That would make more sense. I mean, that's just how the 3DSs worked with the old ones. I believe you couldn't just use the R4.
And then that would make more sense why then the games don't work, because Nintendo flagged it as you're hacking, doing something illegal. We're not going to make this work anymore.
So just to be perfectly honest, if you want to have Switch games, you know, in an improper way, you should just get like the ROG Ally and just download all the files and emulate them on that thing anyway. You don't need to mod a Switch. Like it's a lot of time and effort.
Sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, get like a nice Steam Deck or a ROG Ally. Yeah, they can play Switch games.
What's that, an emulator or something? I don't know what a ROG Ally is.
It's a handheld PC. It's like a Steam Deck competitor type thing.
Republic of Gaming.
There's a whole bunch of different models out there that can emulate Switch games. Like, Switch games aren't that hard to emulate, to be honest with you. Some of them I'm sure are, but anyway, I don't like piracy during something's life cycle. I'm just being honest with you. I do not promote piracy while something is being sold in the stores. Like, I wouldn't even think about modding my Switch for like a decade. So,
well, I'll put a disclaimer here. I'll admit that every time a Nintendo console is hackable, I will hack it, and that's purely so I can keep my games sealed. So I do actually buy the games, keep them sealed, and then I download them and play them for the, you know.
Nothing wrong with that to me.
I think you just nailed something on the head there, Joe. Why you can buy things in stores. If you can't buy it in stores and it's downloadable only, then I'm gonna probably download it for free. But if you can buy it in the shops, then I'll give you my money. I'm not giving you $60 for a digital game.
That's true. Yeah, if the downloads were a bit cheaper, then it would maybe persuade some people to go, well, it's only this much, I might pay for it. But yeah, if it's the same price as a physical copy, that's just ridiculous. And of course, you're gonna, if you've got the technical know-how, mod it. Yeah. But physical, at least they've still got physical. At least they've still got physical games. Once they stop having physical games, then people are going to lose money as soon as these machines are hacked.
You know, I mean, I'm into both. Like, believe me. Like, so I have like a 3DS that's not modded, and I have my physical games, and I can play them that way if I want. And then I have like a couple 3DSs that I just modded and threw a million games on, and I play those because they're convenient. And like, I don't see a problem with that. I can't buy these games anyway. So
yeah, they've closed the store. Even if you wanted to give them money, you can't.
Yeah. Well, the Wii U was hackable pretty early on in its life cycle. So I only had about 10 games since then at that point. And then that's what started me on the the sealed only collection. So, it's like so I had every single game on a hard drive, and I'll just buy every single game sealed, and now I've got a full collection. So it's worked out for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you can still play them anytime you want. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I mostly play, if I'm playing PS1 or PS2 games, I'm playing like an emulated version on my Steam Deck at this point, just out of sheer convenience and like stuff like that. Yeah, and I still prefer to collect them. And I think I went over this before too, like even just going through the library and downloading a bunch of ROMs to fill up my Steam Deck, it actually made me buy more physical games, not really the other way around. I actually discovered more games that way that I'm like, what is this game? Oh my God, this is actually really fun. I'm like, damn, I want this in the collection. Hell yeah, this thing's so good.
Yeah, like the obscure games.
Hell yeah.
Like limited run type games.
Just weird stuff that I, never really came across, or regional games. Like I started collecting Japanese games specifically from that. Like I'm just like, damn, this game is so good. I'm like, I wonder
especially when you enjoy them. If I enjoy a game, I want to own it.
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah. Like I want to own a copy of Baldur's Gate 3 because it's really cool. I'd love to own a copy of Starfield, but played through it. I can't really have a copy on the shelf. I guess did they make an Xbox One copy of it? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I think it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's probably just a download code or something. Let's be honest.
I don't know. I'm not into collecting Xbox.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, so it is a bad console to collect for, really.
No, I mean it's
not
bad to collect for. It depends on what you mean. Like for value, there's not a lot of money in it, but if you like the games, it's fun to collect for. It's cheap. It's actually like really good if you want to get a good collection on the cheap.
That's true. Yeah, it's a very cheap.
But you don't collect Xbox.
I feel like when they designed the Xbox One case, it was a flimsy case. It's clearly made to be cheap, like they didn't want to print it out.
No. When I say collect Xbox, I mean like OG Xbox and 360. Really, that's really what I mean.
The OG Xbox.
Yeah, that's what people collect. So
here's the thing. What do you guys think of Xbox One and PS4, and whether they're worth keeping now that their successor consoles can play all their games? Because I got myself a PS5 and I just had my PS4 sitting on my desk, collecting dust, and I thought, I'm never going to touch this again, ever. So do I keep it, just put it away in its box, or do I sell it now while it's still got some value?
Yeah, I had a PS4 Pro and I sold it the day I bought a PS5 for that reason. Like I said to myself, if I hold on to it, I'm not going to use it for the next 4 years, which I have had no reason to have needed a PS4 in the last 4 years. And I got like $350 for it, where I wouldn't have got that today.
Yeah. And because you transfer your entire, when you first switch your PS5 on, it allows you to transfer the entire content of your PS4 onto the PS5. So instantly, it's already your old PS4.
Yep.
And now you can just add PS5 games to it. So that's the reason I sold my Xbox One as well. It's just, I'm never going to play this.
So all right. So for the PS4, it has some of the most collectible consoles I've ever seen. Like you could get into PS4 collecting, and like I could see that being really appealing, man. Yeah, the limited edition consoles are gorgeous, dude. Like I have my Spider-Man PS4 Pro, and I'm sorry, but that is not going anywhere ever. It's staying there forever. And I want the God of War one, like real bad. I love the Star Wars one. I would love the Dragon Quest ones. Are fire. They're so sick. There's a nice fantasy one.
I have the Star Wars one.
There's Kingdom Hearts one. There's a lot of the Taco Bell one. There's so many nice ones.
Oh God.
So I could see you people like collecting them for that. But what I'm gonna do too is I have like an old Slim. And I'm specifically, eventually my plan is I'm gonna like get the really expensive Hatsune Miku controller from Japan, the Hori one's like $500, but it's like a full-sized arcade one, and I'm gonna set up like that. I'm gonna use that slim, and I'm gonna set that up in its own little thing. I'm gonna make like my own little Hatsune Miku thing with it. So like if you're like weird and you want to keep them around to do weird stuff like that, like
special,
you could set them up and use them for something else. And like you said, they'll be really easy to hack PS4s. I'm assuming down the road, and you can do shit with them like that too. So I don't know.
can see them being really cheap down the road. Like $50 for a PS4 will be a common thing. Like when PS1's got it cheap, because when the PS2 came out, you didn't need a PS1 anymore. They became obsolete.
Oh yeah, they'll be wicked cheap. But, yeah, especially like regular, standard PS4s, not even the Pro.
PS4, 125 gigabyte or even lower than that. It's like, what's the point of this thing?
Yeah, those will be cheap.
I mean, the reason I bought a PS5 was because the loading of PS4 was just so slow. I was playing Callisto Protocol, and I was really enjoying the game, but every time I died, it'd be like a minute on a black screen waiting for it to load, and it was annoying me so much. I just said, "Oh, fuck this! I'm getting a PS5."
I do, Banfi. I was supposed to get a bigger place, man. It's just freaking can't buy a house right now. Sucks. Anyway.
I used to play PUBG, Marty, and I remember the day I got a PS5. I was in the lobby running around for like 45 seconds before anyone else was moving. It's all these PS4s that are just still loading.
Yeah, it is awful. I mean, and what annoys me is where it just occurred to me the reason why is because they used hard drives, and the SSDs were well available when they released it, and I mean they've actually skipped SSDs with the PS5. They've gone straight to M2s. I mean they're technically known as SSDs, but physically they're just like a RAM stick. They look like a RAM stick. They're really small, but they skipped SSD hard drives completely, and they should have put them in the PS4 because the loading would have been so much quicker. It's like 10 times the speed.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Yeah. I used to have an external one, and you can save your games to an external drive and make them load off that. So you can do that.
Yeah, but that doesn't work because the PS4, I mean, it'll work, but the PS4 isn't set up to accept that transfer speed. So if you give it an SSD, it still doesn't change the loading speed because the PS4 itself limits that transfer.
It definitely made a big difference for PUBG because it was like how do you fix your loading speed, and you got an SSD and it made it a lot faster. But yeah, compared to
fair enough. If you got personal experience, I just read that it wouldn't make any difference. But yeah, if it has, I'm not going to dispute it.
That's one of the when I was saying earlier when I play PS1 and PS2, I usually play them on the Steam Deck. That's one of the biggest reasons, is because when you do throw them on the PS2 game on all original hardware, you're like, yo, these loading times.
I love the PS3.
Yeah, they take forever. Yeah. Oh, good God. So
when I was working at Sony, there was one of the rules on the PS3 was. A game can't take longer than a minute to load. That would be an A-class bug, and if you get an A-class bug from where I was, the submission side, you'd give it back to the developers and say you have to fix these A-class bugs, otherwise we can't release the game. So that was one. If it was over a minute, or there was. A black screen can't be longer than 10 seconds. Just if it was entirely black, that would be a game failing bug. So it's good they did have the measures in place to try and minimize the loading speeds, and so it was possible. I think near the end they started ignoring that bug because games were getting a bit too much. As they do, they just progress more. Or it might have been just the powers, the gaming publishers that have got a bit more sway, like EA or something. They can leave a little wiggle room for their game-breaking bugs and say,
"Oh, put in a day one patch, guys. It's all good."
Yeah, Believe us, trust us. Day one patch.
So. Well, that's what it's all about. Now this year, it's like the Game of the Year edition will work.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, that's why I hardly ever buy start games new. Switch, you're more likely to get the game in a ready state, especially Nintendo games and Sony, of course. First party published games, they are the highest standard, and they'll always be worth getting day one. But when you're looking at third party publishers, especially on PC, there's no real because on the PC they don't have to send it to anyone. They self-censor basically. All the bugs are on them. If a third party releases a game on Sony or Nintendo, Sony or Nintendo take the responsibility of the quality assurance, and they will say, no, this isn't up to our standards. You can't release this game. So that's why PCs are more likely to get broken games on day one.
I feel like the last 2 years we've definitely seen a change in day one games being less broken. I played Elden Ring day one and it was perfectly fine. I played Tears of the Kingdom day one. It was perfectly fine. I played Starfield day one on a PC that didn't have the specs to be able to run it perfectly, and I had no issues, and I never downloaded the patch and played 120 hours, and it's a Bethesda game. So like I was genuinely surprised at that. So
yeah, the same happened for me with Cyberpunk. That was apparently riddled with bugs.
I played that day one on PS5. It was terrible.
Really? Oh, wasn't there an issue with that they actually used the PS4 version? Kind of upscaled it rather than make
for like 6 months.
Ah, right.
But it didn't work on PS4s.
Right. Yeah.
I think I'm like 60 hours in the game and I crashed like 30 times.
You know? Oh my god!
But the game works today. Is that okay?
It's all that counts.
Yeah, and that's so. What's annoying too is they like re-released a physical version for it on the PS5, and it's supposed to be like the complete edition, but like none of the content's on there. It's all download codes. So it's like whatever. It just drives me crazy when they released an updated complete edition, Game of the Year edition, and there's still nothing on the disc. It's like okay,
yeah.
There's literally no reason to buy that version unless you want it. You could just buy it. I don't even care about the DLC half the time, so.
Well, I don't have time there is no reason to buy that because I can put my copy in there and download that version because they made it free because they fucked up and they had to make it free. Yeah, when a company does fuck up like that, like No Man's Sky, they lost money because they have to give away all their content for free to appeal the community again because they fucked up so bad. Cyberpunk, they dug the hole and they had to dig themselves out of it.
Yeah, I got that pretty early, that No Man's Sky, and yeah, there was hardly anything to do on it. And I remember I played for an hour, and then I got somewhere, and then I updated the game, and then when I reloaded my save, I was just stuck in the middle of space. I was supposed to be on a planet. It just reconfigured the game that much. I was just in the middle of nowhere. I had no fuel or anything to move anywhere because I just started the game. Really don't want to do that.
It was such a weird experience. I went into it expecting like this is going to be cool, and
it's awesome.
Just like half an hour, pretty cool, and then you start flying anywhere, and you land on your second planet, and you realize there's nothing here, and there's nothing to do, and everything's the same.
Yeah. That's one gripe I've got against procedurally generated games. If anything calls itself a roguelike now, I just ignore it. I'm not interested. Every single roguelike has annoyed me just because they're not designed properly. They're not designed by the developers for each. A good game is designed all the way. With these roguelikes, they just shove some assets in and let's see what you get. And you could get a completely boring place with nothing to find. And which is often the case, and you're just walking around. Yeah, this hasn't been designed, so I've got something to do every 5 seconds. It's just I'm just roaming around. There's nothing here. So yeah, I just ignore them now.
I can put a counter to that. I do agree with you in the most part, but a game that I played in the last few years that had roguelike elements was Stardew Valley, and I think that game implemented it really well, where it was just one section of the game, and it was the dungeons, and that was good because it was a thing that you were going to do hundreds of times, and if they made it the same, I wouldn't have done it. So some games
I
haven't
played that. But something that comes hand in hand, but it's not really the same genre, is that I'm like you just mentioned. I haven't played Stardew Valley, so I'm not sure if I'm getting it right from you. But is it this kind of game where you're given a dungeon, you play it, you die, you kind of you earn some experience points or something, play the dungeon again, but it's different? Is that? I mean, every time you play, is it different?
Yeah, and it's got an unlimited amount of floors, and every floor gets a little bit harder, and you can get to floor like if you grind hard enough.
But if you die, does it change the level layout again?
Yeah.
Anytime you go in that dungeon, I think it's different because it's like on every day it resets, right? On a day-to-day basis.
So
it's got like
I don't like
a day timer.
Okay, so I don't like that style of game either because, and I think it's slightly different than procedurally generated. They don't always go hand in hand, that style of gameplay. But what was that? Rogue Legacy. That was my first type of game like that I played. And you're in a dungeon. It's a platformer. Mm-hmm. Every time you die, you go back to the beginning, but the levels changed. Now, I wasn't learning to get better because I don't know what's coming up next. All I was doing was grinding to be able to purchase power-ups like better health, better attack power, or something like that. So really, all I was seeing there was a grind fest. I didn't see myself progressing. It was just get some more money by, to buy myself as a better character. I think Dead Cells does the same thing as well. And I can understand if people like that, but for me, it's just like I'm just grinding here.
No, I know what you mean.
I do completely understand that, and Stardew Valley is like that. Like, it's 100%. If you start the game and try and beat the dungeon on the items that you've got at the start, you're gonna have a bad time. But if you grind and get the good weapons and get all the good items, it's gonna be super easy. And 100% on there. And I could relate it to one of my favorite games, Soul series. So the Soul series has set worlds and they're not procedurally generated or anything. But Bloodborne has these things called the Chalice dungeons, and they're these randomly generated dungeons, and they're like known throughout the community as like the most awful part of all the Souls games, and everyone hates them because they're different and you can't memorize them. And yeah, it's spot on too. They never went back to this gameplay design either.
Yeah, well, good. I don't remember them. I did finish Bloodborne, but I probably just skipped the Chalice dungeons then. They're
not required.
I did know about them.
They're required to get the platinum trophy. So.
Right, yeah. So I don't really go for those. Oh, another game where I was saying that gameplay mechanics, so it doesn't go hand in hand with roguelikes, is Mega Man 11. I'm a massive Mega Man fan, and the 11th one they brought out a few years ago on all the major consoles. Mm-hmm. What they did with that was different to the others was it was harder than the originals, and the originals are notoriously difficult games, but this 11th one, it was harder. I didn't feel myself getting better, but the grind was giving me money where I could eventually buy myself some upgrades and stuff like that. It's not the way Mega Man used to play, and it annoyed the hell out of me because I wasn't getting better at the game. I was just grinding, putting more hours in just to grind for money, just to improve my status as a character.
So there's there's a fundamental flaw with the game design, and a lot of people have criticized it. So it's like you said, what it is that you're not getting better at the game. It's because you're actually just nerfed. at the beginning of the game. You've been you've been artificially lowered, and like you are not able to complete the game at the current difficulty because your character doesn't have enough HP or doesn't have enough damage, doesn't have enough unlocks, or doesn't. So, like you said, it's not necessarily a matter of like your skills improving as you play the game and you're getting farther. It's just you're accumulating more resources, and then you can unlock the thing that gives you more damage or gives you more health. That gives you so now you can actually play the game. So it's like you don't get to start off at the game at your normal power level and you just get better at the game. You're like lowered and you have to grind to get there. It's like almost like an RPG or something. Like it adds that extra element. And like I've seen a lot of criticisms of that, which is why like in the shmup community, like there's regular shmups and then there's like this whole like genre where they add like RPG elements like that, where you have like start off and you shoot like one bullet, but if you keep playing, then you can get like your full spread. And a lot of people just can't stand it because it's like you said, you're not getting better, you're just nerfed, and you have to put in time to be able to unlock everything just to play the damn game.
100%. So, I'm actually playing a game like that right now. It's called Hyper 5. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's quite an obscure game, but that's exactly how you were describing. You turn up, you can shoot like one bullet a second, and you get absolutely smashed. And you're slow, and you can't dodge anything. And it's all about just grinding that same level over and over again until you can buy an upgrade. And the worst thing about it is you could buy the wrong upgrades. So you could be like, "Oh, I'll try this weapon. I'll try this weapon,"
and they don't combo. They don't combo correctly, and now you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because you were supposed to buy the blue weapon with this stat, and you bought the green weapon with this stat, and the green weapon you're supposed to level up this other stat, and now you're screwed.
I had one thing on this.
What I was finding was
I don't actually think it's bad gameplay design, because this actually sounds really appealing to me. I think the whole grinding thing can be really satisfying, and unlocking things after playing it for so long can feel good. I like to go back to a game I played on PS2. It was The Simpsons Road Rage, and it was like a taxi simulator, and you could grind through the game, and the more you play it, the better cars you unlocked, and the easier it got, and the more money you'd make, and like that was the entire premise of the whole game. And I personally loved that, and I replayed it years later, and I still got the same satisfaction out of it.
I'd say that's different though to the mechanic we're saying. I mean, Simpsons Road Rage, it was an open world game. You went around doing lots of things. You weren't doing the same thing over and over again. And you were exploring.
This is the taxi one where it was just the taxi deliveries?
I don't know.
Yeah, so all you do in the game would pick up people and drop them off. That's all you
hit
did.
And run? I think that's hit and run, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Googling it.
Yeah, it's this one here.
Yeah, but...
Oh, it's Road Rage.
Right, okay. So I'm probably thinking of Hit and Run.
Yeah, Hit and Run was the open world one, but
okay.
this one was the one that people didn't like because, I guess, of those mechanics. I can think of many games like that where I enjoyed the grind of getting to that point and then having to do that.
Well, it's going to appeal to different people, man. You got to understand that's like I like roguelike games and I enjoy that to an extent, but I can 100% understand the other point of view where you're like, I don't feel like doing this. I just want a game where I can be, what I'm supposed to be at the right time, and I'm not like, gosh, it sucks. Like you're not going to beat it on your first try, no matter how good you are, because it's like impossible.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just mathematically, it's like your weapon does 1 damage per second, and the guy has 1,000,000 health. You'd have to sit there for freaking a week, just being like, and you'll never kill the back because the way they designed it. And it sucks. So you like almost have to die, and then, like you said, do that grind. But it's like I said, but it's like you have to be into like almost like that RPG type thing where you have to like the time equals gratification. Like that is your reward, like a guaranteed. Like you put in this time, you will become more powerful. You are rewarded for the time that you put in. So if you're into that, these games are appealing. But if you're just like, no, I just want to be like a skill-based game where I feel like I'm better at the game and I want to get better, like a fighting game doesn't give you that same satisfaction. You know what I mean? Like you just have to get better at the damn game. You're not like, if you like put 1,000 hours in and like, what do you maybe get like a costume or something, but you're not like leveling up your fighter. most of them. I feel like you just have the characters and here's the skill set, and you have to just get better at that game. Does that make
a lot
sense?
of modern games have
Yeah.
had criticisms of that game design, so they've gone down the road of instead of making you grind to be able to verse bosses, they just add in all this extra side content. So instead of grinding, you're just doing side content and things like that. And by the time you get to the final mission, if you've done all the side content, you're usually way overpowered. And like Zelda's a pretty good example, and different games like that.
Yeah.
Do all the side content, you get back to the missions, they're super easy because your health bar is like twice the screen, and you've got all the items in the world and blah blah blah. But if you play through the game and do the missions in order, it's going to be really tough, and you feel like I need to grind for it, but you don't think in your head I need to grind. You're just like I can go do this boss or do this dungeon, this. So they've definitely changed.
Well, that's why it's not grinding. It's just seeing the rest of the game, isn't it? But grinding is doing something over and over again. And I was saying about that shoot 'em up I was playing. I'm afraid to try different weapons. There's about 20 different weapons to buy. I'm afraid of wasting my my hard-earned money. I've done like 10 playthroughs of this level just to get enough money to upgrade my weapon. Now, do I try this new weapon, or do I just? I think the wisest thing is just to upgrade my regular shooter, because I'll be on level 2 then, which will be, just more powerful. It'll dispose of enemies quicker. So in the end, I'm not even going to bother trying to see any of these other weapons, because it's just wasting precious money, which equals precious time.
Yeah. So that's fundamentally, I think, what's going to differentiate the communities. Like, there are people who are like I'm at the point where I don't want a game that takes up too much of my time. I want a game that like keeps me occupied for a reasonable amount of time, where I feel like I got my money's worth. Like, I don't want it to be too short or anything, but like I have so many games I want to play that like I don't want to play one game like all the time as much as I used to. But like I used to like that a lot. Like I would be like, no, I want a game that has some meat on its bone, and I want to put 3,000 hours into it, and I like that. So if you're somebody who's like doesn't have like a big budget for games, and like maybe just wants to buy 1 or 2 games a year and just play those games and like really put time into it, you'll like those design elements that require grinding and time commitment and all that stuff, because you'll want that. But like for me, I'm like, or for like you said, like you're not going to play through that game 3 or 4 times to try out all the weapons. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, no way, dude. Like, it's just,
as soon as I see the credits, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. And same with me. And I can lie to myself and be like, oh, I'll come back and finish up those few quests I didn't do, and I'll come back. And I'm not doing that. I'm not coming back. I'm never coming back. No way. Maybe when I'm 80
you ain't doing it then. You ain't doing it in 3 years' time where you forget about it.
Yeah, I've got that in my head now. Whenever I play a game, I know I'm never going to play it again for the rest of my life. It's just not going to happen. But there's too many games to play. I've got thousands that I haven't played. And this last year, I've been grinding PC Engine and Saturn games, and it's reminded me how long it takes to actually get a few done under your belt. Because a lot of these games as well, they're short games. They're like an hour long, but to practice, you need a lot of them. I put like about 10 hours in, just to be good enough to complete these games. A lot of these shmups, there's so many great ones on the Saturn and PC Engine, but they're so hard. I really need to put the time in to learn every enemy wave and all that. But so that's what's funny. People are like, you can tell when people don't understand shmups when they're like, what do you mean? I got that game and I beat it in 15 minutes. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You don't know what you're talking about. You probably just said continue until you saw the credits or whatever. You didn't beat that game. Like a real shmup, like I'm putting hours and hours and hours of practice in to like really, unless like, especially the ones that are like have a true last boss, like you really haven't beaten it unless you've beaten the real boss. So that means you got to beat the whole game without dying and all this other crap. And like you said, you got to memorize. And even if you have it memorized, it's like, it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go. Yeah, there are a couple of games where I've had to give up. I do most of them legitimately, but I have had a couple of games where I've just like no, I will never be skillful enough to do this.
Oh yeah,
or,
you got to know
or
that
lucky
too.
enough.
I know that
Yeah.
too. Like
It's like what was this game? Final Soldier, or was it Super Soldier? It's a shoot 'em up. There's two. There's Final Soldier and Superstar Soldier on the
Star Soldier,
PC
yeah.
Engine.
Mhm.
And I did the first one, which was the last level. I was just completely lucky with the power-ups that I collected. I just did the last level over and over. It was infinite continues. I was just over and over and over. It took hours on it. And there was just one run where I got the right random power-ups came up, and I stayed alive and managed to complete it. But its sequel, I had to do that recently, and it was the same again. I could do the whole game until the last level, which was just insanely hard. I just couldn't just physically do it. And yeah, and you know, you had limited lives on this one as well, so it's like, right, start the game again. And if you don't go into the last level already fully powered up, you have absolutely no chance. So it's basically you need to start the whole game again, get to the last level. If you die, you're screwed. Start again.
Yeah,
so
that's if you get to the last level,
so bad, dude,
and you've got like 1 or 2 lives left, you still need to play it, because eventually you're just going to learn the start of the game really good. You need to learn the end of the game as well.
Yeah, but basically with these, they make them so hard that you can't get anywhere with no power ups. So you know it's a lot different. Your tactic for trying to get through is more luck based rather than if you were fully powered up, you'd just smash through it. Really, just fill the screen with bullets.
Yeah, and sometimes they like you can't recover. You know, you need like 5-6 power ups to get max power ups, and like if you die, you're gonna get stuck at a checkpoint, and they're only offering you 1 power up. So now you have to beat the like insane boss, which is a pain in the ass if you have all 5 power ups with 1 power up.
Yeah,
and it's just like you're stuck. Like even if they give you infinite continues, you're screwed. Like you're not gonna beat it because you're just like you would have to play God mode for like 20 minutes. You'd have to dodge the shit for like 20 minutes because you have like no DPS now. It's like what the heck?
Yeah.
R-Type was like it took me years to beat that game, bro. Like I couldn't beat it, like because like that there's like one stage where you said like you had to get there fully powered up, you had to get through that whole stage without dying, and if you got hit, you're screwed. Like you had to start the game over. You're screwed.
Yeah.
So I honestly can't say I've finished the shmup because I've never fully like learned them and played through it properly. I've just played a couple of hours here and there. A couple of hours here and there. If it's got continues, I'd probably hit continue and beat the game like that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they are, they're reflex based, and I'm sure everyone craps themselves when they start these games. You know, especially the old ones. I'm sure everyone thinks they're just not good enough to do it. You know,
or possible.
You just think there's some. Yeah, you think it's impossible, and there's some amazing superhuman that's able to do it. So I don't know. I don't know what percent of people could actually complete these games. It'd be interesting to know. Like, is it a case of, well, if you just keep playing, everyone can do it? I don't think it's the case. I think you need a certain reflex level. And I think it's always above average. It would have to be.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always surprised when I look at platinum trophies and the percentage is so high. And I'm like, I just grinded like 150 hours for this, and 10% of people who have played the game have got it. But there's obviously a lot of people out there who are looking for that experience, and they're going to play it. So the more hardcore a game is and underground it is, the higher percentage of people that have probably finished it who have played it.
Yeah.
So there's with shmup specifically, that's a very, very small percentage of people who can play things on the hardest difficulties, and that's for me is where I'm like,
well, I'd say just on easy. Forget it.
Yeah, I mean, so
I won't even touch hard. Every game like that, I'll put it on easy, and it's still insane.
Yeah. So like there is like a limit of like your human capabilities, like you said. Like some people like I can't, like no matter how hard, like I just know I can't. Like I played games on the second to hardest settings, and it takes me months to beat them. And so like I just know that trying to beat that next level is never going to happen because it took me months and months of practice just to be able to beat this. And like it's just never going to happen. But then there are people out there they can beat all the games on that crazy hard difficulty. But that's all right. So you just got to like you don't need to be that person. You don't to enjoy those games. Like you don't need to put it on the hardest difficulty and to, you know what I mean? Like the way I always put it, it's like I could play baseball with my friends and still watch the major leagues and enjoy watching them play at their level, and I can still play at my level and have fun. And it's you know what I mean? And it's you can be into it and not be like God, and that's totally fine. Like you don't need to be like I don't know. That's why I don't like that's one of the things that I don't like the elitism about some of the shmups. And some people are like, you can't do this. It's very similar to like playing guitar, where like some people are just gods, man, and they're just the Yngwie Malmsteen and all that, and they're on this level, and you know what I mean. But that doesn't mean you have to be that crazy to play guitar well and write good music and have a good time. Like you don't need to be that crazy at it. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
have fun and make something and have fun with it and enjoy yourself.
I'd say with these old school shmups though, a lot of them you're not going to see much at all. I kind of see myself as the only person crazy enough to really try to do these. I know most normal gamers, if they pick up a game like these old PC Engine shoot 'em ups or something, it'd be like they die in 10 seconds and it'd go right, start again from the start of the level. It's not continue. Here's a load of ships. It's like right, do it all again. Get to the boss, die, start the level again. People just aren't going to have the patience for that. But I also think you have to have a certain amount of skill as well. So I just think who is going to get any enjoyment out of these? I mean, if you've got a game like they do the re-releases now, like you can get a Switch collection of Darius or something, and they throw all the cheats at you. They go, right, here's infinite lives, infinite continues, don't get hit, fully powered up, now play the game. But if you don't use any of those cheats, the difficulty, oh my God, the arcade games in particular, they are so much harder than console games. I can't last like seconds. And that's after practice with hundreds of games like this. I cannot last for seconds because they're just throwing everything at you. And even in the description that it was saying, oh, this version of the game is shorter, but they've made it all the bosses harder. Especially the end, they've made it harder again because they expect you to be fully powered up by now. That's given the fact that when you have to get every power up from the beginning of the game all the way to the end. That's what they expected from people. So that means no deaths, basically. If you do die, you lose your power ups. So that's what they expected of the arcade player. You are screwed if you do not have everything and get hit.
Yeah. There's a certain type of gamer out there that loves the challenge, like in the Dark Souls scene. There's people that try and complete the game where they've made a banana into the controller or using a dance pad. Or if you look at Guitar Hero scene, there's people that try and beat the hardest song on the hardest difficulty. So I think in every community is always going to have that type of player that, all right, this is impossible. Well, let's see if this is possible. And that's what they grind for a year or until it takes. And there's big communities on Twitch that love watching people doing that, whether it's speed running or, trying to do challenges that are impossible that are possible. Look at Tetris. Like there was a new world record set in Tetris a couple of weeks ago. Tetris is a 40-year-old game and people are grinding Tetris. It's cool, right?
Yeah, that was amazing. I was very impressed by that 13-year-old kid.
His parents mightn't have been born when Tetris came out. Like that's how old the
Yeah, it is insane, that new finger tapping technique that they use. It was only their physical ability that was holding them back. Their brains were there. Their brains were already quick enough to do the fastest that the game can throw at them, but they couldn't physically tap left or right fast enough until they worked out this rolling technique. Are you aware of that, the rolling technique?
Yeah. I watched the video.
So,
It's awesome.
I'll give you a little example. So say this is the NES controller. They hold it like that. So say the D-pad's there. So they'd hold over right and flick their fingers over this so that every vibration hits the button once. So they can go 4. So that's 4 right presses because it's wiggled the controller 4 times onto say he's pressing right. He's got his thumb over the right, hits it like that, and it's pressed the right button 4 times in a fraction of a second. So that's the only way they're able to be fast enough. Apparently, it takes a lot of practice to get used to doing this, but once you can do that, you can move immediately to the left and the right of the screen. And so it was only their brains that were holding them back from then on, and that's why they could play it so long that they've broken the game. They hit the kill screen. And someone else did it like a couple of days later because they were grinding on it as well. That's an amazing achievement.
Recognition for the person who does it second, right? I didn't even hear that another person.
Yeah. The kid got worldwide, attention, and the second guy, nothing, and he's a world champion as well.
Going back to the finger rolling technique, I played a game on the PS2 back in the day called Athens 2004 Olympics. And in the game, it had an event that was the 100-meter sprint. And the way the sprint works was you had to press the X and the circle button as fast as you could. And
yeah.
It was hard. And I remember buying the game at Cash Converters, and the guy at the shop's like, I've got a little trick for you. Use a spoon on the 100-meter event, a plastic spoon. I'm like a 10-year-old.
Does that have to go left?
Yeah, so you get a plastic spoon and you just rub the back of the spoon as fast as you could, and you could get like a 6-second time in the 100-meter sprint by doing this.
Yeah, that's cool. Incidentally, I'm a record holder on International Track and Field 1 and 2 on the PlayStation. I don't think it's official or anything, but my times, I've got them uploaded on YouTube. I did that. I'm not as fast as I used to be. I probably did these times about 10 years ago, maybe longer. Maybe 20 years ago. But I had them on my memory card, and I played the replays, and I uploaded them on my channel. And most of my records, I'll tell you how I used to do it. Because you're saying you used to press on these games, it was square and circle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was X and circle. Yeah, it was 2 of them.
Oh, right. Yeah, so I changed the controls to be square and X. And I'd hold it like this. So I'd wiggle this right hand, and every time I press down and go up, that the square gets pressed alternately. So I only shake with this hand. So every time I press X, the pad comes back up and hits the square button. So so this is in motion. I go. So that's constantly, every time I do that, it's 2 buttons being pressed alternately.
And then you slip and you're you have to start again. I
do that a lot. And I get really aching arms and all that. But yeah, I've got some world records.
Dude, that's so funny that you get like I can tell you, like, me and my friends were trying to refine how to do stuff like that. We used to play Mario Party, like any of those games, you had to like competitively hit the button fast. And then we used to be really into the PS3 Olympics games. We have like the Tokyo one, and we have dude, those games they're like the best party games still. Like we don't we don't know what to do. It's like, dude, pick 20 events, let's go, baby. And you're mashing those buttons. We'd all have some weird like way of doing it where it's like, hold it like this, put the fingers like this, like all of us would come up with some way to try to win. Like, man, it's so funny, dude.
The worst would be like the 400 meters, because you got to do it for 60 seconds. And it's like you'll end the race.
God,
meters, and then it's like, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It would always be the same. We'd all kind of do the same, and then one of us would have some like freakishly good performance and like set some god record. And we'd be like, "What did you just do?" And he'd be like, "I don't know."
Or be really good at like one event, like the shooting or the hard
long
jump or something.
The hammer throw, baby. I crushed. I don't know.
Was that the one that wrecked your controller? Well, you had to just spin the analog stick around and around. I wrecked PS2 controllers doing that.
Yeah, probably.
Did you?
Dude, I love those games.
Regarding that Mario Party one, do you know the technique for that? We used to play that a lot. There was the mini game called Domination. So there's a load of womps, a wall of womps, and every time you press, it give you 10 seconds to press A, and then it would just count how many you did. And we used to play that loads. But you can use the technique that I used on just that I've shown you. You can use that technique on just the A button. So every time you press it with your right hand, and if you've got your left hand in position properly, when you go back up, you're pressing it again with your left hand. So you get 2 presses every time that you shake your hand. So I maxed out the score on that multiple times. Just going, it just wouldn't.
Dude, that one
number wouldn't go higher.
Remember triple jump? You remember the triple jump? That one when you had to like do 3 different buttons. You had to go back and forth.
Yeah. But you had to do the running start too, so you had to get the thing.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It was like 3 different things. You had to like, yeah, dude, like that one.
Like the same as the bowl. I was really good at that. Actually, the same. We got to play, Joe, because it's online.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Oh, I think the new one is. The new Switch game is. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure the London PS3 one is. Let me have a look.
Oh, you're talking about the PS3 games. Yeah, dude, I would totally play those, dude. I would absolutely do that. That would be a fun stream, man.
Yeah,
it's really competitive, and what I like about it too, it's just like it's one of those things where like you could play with 4 people, but you're not like on a team per se, so you're not like fucking like mad if your teammate does bad or good or whatever. You're just like I like golf games for that reason too, where you're all just competing against yourselves and just laughing when you screw up. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
It's so funny when like you do a long jump and you just face plant, you suck or something. It's so good. It's so good.
I'd really love like the 800 and the 1500 meters. Those events were so much fun.
Everyone in pain.
Just you hold the button and you plan when you're going to do the attack, and yeah, that were a blast.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
You know, on the second track and field, on the long jump, I cleared the sand pit. I actually jumped over it and landed on my feet on the grass.
That's hilarious.
When you break like all the world records, and yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah.
You confuse the game. It's like I don't know what to do. Was that out of bounds?
Yeah. Same with the javelin. I got that in the tracks.
You know, I love about those games is the one athlete did the shot put. He did the 100 meters. He was the guy doing the horse jumping. He was swimming. It was just the one character.
Yeah.
Oh man, so good. Yeah, and then actually, it's funny that I just said that, but the newest game they came out with, the newest like Olympic game, it was like you could only do 2v2, and it was like 2v2 online only. Like you couldn't play 4-player couch co-op anymore on that PS4 one. Yeah, the new one.
AI when you're doing it, you used to have AI in the events too. You know,
you could do 2 people, and you had to play like online against 2 other people or some shit like that. I can't remember, but like you couldn't just do like 4 people sitting around playing together, and it was like
it's gonna ruin it.
I'm finding a lot of things like
the PS3 ones are the ones you want.
Or
I'm finding a lot of things like that recently. They're making it harder to play just a regular game. Like I was playing the FIFA football game was on. It was free on PS Plus, so my friends and I downloaded it, ready to play online together, and I could not start a game where all 4 of us would be playing against each other, just a friendly match. I couldn't just arrange an online match, just 4 of us playing. And forever, FIFA games, you can have eight controllers on each side. You know, you can have anyone play on any side. Since the very beginning, it's always been like that. And now it's like I can't even play against my friends online. And I Googled it and everything, found out afterwards you just can't. You have to. The only way to do it was to like start a league or something, but you'd all have to be on the same side, and you'd have to play through a league.
You couldn't be like against each other or anything. Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's rubbish. So that's one of the most basic fundamental gameplay games play against each other, and you
Technically, you
can't
can
do it
still
on
play 2-player with 2 controllers on FIFA because my buddy comes around all the time, and that's what we do. You don't even need internet.
Offline you can do it. Offline's fine, but I don't know why they took it away from online.
I remember people having. I think it was the Mario Strikers game that came out had a similar problem. Like it was a wicked bitch to get the matches to work correctly. I just don't remember the issue. But yeah, I've heard that being an issue with a couple of things where it's just like the interface and the setup is just so awful, and you can't just like play the way you want to, or like everyone's got to have their own account and be signed in separately, or has to be. I guess this person has to be the host, and that person has to. It's like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, it's always
there's a prequel to the game that people enjoyed, and it was simple, and then they changed things. People don't like change when they can't do what they used to do, you know.
I find they put too many options in games now. It's so hard just because what we like to do, we have a games night with my friends, usually once a week, and 4 of us try to. We've got a lot of games that we've ended up getting for free, you know, off Epic or the PlayStation Store, or whatever. So we think, oh, let's try this game, and it's always a massive ball ache to start a game. First of all, they force you to do a tutorial, and we're all like, oh god, we've got to do tutorial. Then you get into the main menu. It's like, well, which one's online? Well, there's about 30 options here. Which one is just online? I don't know. It's like,
and then there's 4 options for online. It's like, which one do you want to play?
Yeah, and then you end up having, like, sometimes it's like you can't create a game. You have to join a server that's already running. It's like, okay, so I've got no choice in the matter, right? Okay, crap. And then there's always a problem with inviting friends. There's just no standard to inviting friends. Like, where's invite your friends? I don't know where. I press all these buttons. I can't see you.
Nothing will ever beat good old fashioned Quake 2 LAN parties back in the day. We just all sit in a room in a basement with a bunch of computers hooked up. Just fucking none of us taking showers for 4 days. Fucking just play Quake 2, baby.
I had the same with old school Counter-Strike back in the early 2000s. All like 30 computers in one room. Half the room are on one side playing Counter-Strike. Half the room playing terrorists. This is so much fun.
We used to play Dota together and WoW together and all sorts of stuff, man. I loved LAN parties. StarCraft, freaking good stuff, man.
Hey, would you guys like to play the Figsy quiz?
Heck yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Quake 3 arena LAN parties were bad. I love Quake 3. Quake 2 is just where it started, but Quake 3 was the shit. I love that game.
Yeah.
All right, let me get out of the chat. Don't look into chat. No cheating.
Before we start the quiz, let's get a question up for chat. So, chat, here is your question for the week. We need the full video game title. While my chat's thinking about this one. How is this quiz working? All right, who would like to go first tonight? Marty, would you like to go first?
Sure, why not?
All right, Marty's going to go first. There's a few different sections to tonight's quiz. It's completely different to any quiz you've done before.
Oh, God. I was digging the simple pictures.
The first section is I'm going to show you guys a photo of a video game character. This video game character is a mixed match of 2 video game characters. For a full point, you have to tell me the 2 video game characters it's a mixed match of. You don't get any points even if you name 1. You need to name 2. So, Marty, you're up first.
So I've just got to name what video cameras they are, characters they are.
Yeah, so it's 2 video game characters in 1. You have to name the 2.
Okay, so Pikachu and Master Chief.
So number 1 is Pikachu and Master Chief. That is correct. All right, question 2. Joe, this one's for you.
It's Dr. Robotnik, and then gosh, is that Castlevania? I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss with the second one. Gonna say it's the guy from Castlevania. Is it Dracula?
Incorrect. Marty?
No.
No, that's a really hard one. That I pass.
All right. I thought Marty would have got this one. So we, of course, had Dr. Eggman or Robotic Nick. And then it was Ganon or Ganondorf.
Really? I don't see it still.
These are all done by AI generation, so.
Yeah, I would have thought so. The cloak, yes, I can see, but the clothes.
I can see it with these
like
other
helmets,
characters in the background and everything.
Yeah, they look like Mega Man or Mega Man Zero or something like that characters. So I was thinking maybe it's something from there.
Let's move on to number 3. Marty, this one's for you.
Sonic the Hedgehog and Kirby.
That is correct.
Hey, that's a hard one.
All right, so moving on to the next part of the quiz. You guys have to guess the game from the description of the front cover. Joe? These are very long descriptions.
Oh, Jesus.
Images of viral collage of seems to be a popular. These characters feature different styles and appearance in the various worlds and game. Okay, that doesn't give me any information at all. In the lower center, there's an iconic character with a red hat, blue overalls. Okay, it sounds like Mario. Alongside there in a green tunic wielding a sword and a shield. It sounds like Link. In the bottom right, you see a figure with orange hair using device. Looks like a grappling hooker weapon. Okay. Chair, character, spaces, a friend in the composition, certain flying this ready to combat. I'm gonna say this has got to be freaking Smash Bros.
Yeah.
The answer is Super Smash Bros. Joe takes the point.
Like it's got every freaking Nintendo character on Earth. It's gotta be Smash Bros.
All right, moving on to the second one. Marty, this one's for you.
You have to read it in Pig Latin out loud.
Okay.
I think the first sentence is a huge clue. The image depicts a figure standing in the middle of a desolated cobblestone street, surrounded by what appears to be an airy, gothic cityscape.
Yeah, it's the fact that the fate. I've
sounds like a Barbie game to me.
I've only got one game in mind, but it's just the fact of saying he's facing away from the viewer that puts me off. But I can't really think of anything else, so I'm just going to go for Bloodborne.
I think that's it.
Correct answer is Bloodborne.
Hey!
All right.
I thought he was facing the camera in my mind.
Joe, this one's for you.
All right. This image features an animated scene where a character stands atop a rock outcrop looking over a vast landscape. Okay. The character is dressed in an adventure of a blue tunic and carries a shield on their back, while the sword is held in their right hand, pointing downward. The term is utility giant, probably being a real warrior explorer. Visible in the foreground of green grass with bright yellow-green flowers. Heading to the platform. Steeping from the mountains, valleys, Grand Castle, and the seat above the sky is green. This is Tears of the Kingdom.
I'll give you a point.
I know what it is. Can I interject?
Wrong. Yeah, Marty?
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, one or the other.
It is Breath of the Wild. I'll give you half a point, Joe, but Marty.
No, you give it to Marty. That's fine. I didn't get it right.
Right.
It was one or the other. I just figured when he was said in the sky where I figured there were clouds. I don't know.
All right,
I can't really think of what the other one looks like.
It's got the the sky and the underground, right? I don't know. It's just got the
Yeah.
cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd expect there to be some Sky Islands.
So whose turn is it?
Marty.
I think
Okay.
I know what it is, but I don't
I'll
know which one.
I'll take the franchise here.
Okay, Double Dragon.
Double Dragon is incorrect.
I think it's Mortal Kombat.
Correct answer? Mortal Kombat.
Oh, well done.
All right, so we now move on to the final round. And Pavel titled this round the trolling last question.
Oh, come on.
So take that with a grain of salt. I'll open this up to both of you guys. It's exactly the same format. We're going to have a question pop up on the screen. And it's the back. It's describing the front cover, and you guys have to guess what the cover is. It is a little bit tougher, though.
Is it first to answer?
First to answer.
Infamous?
I'll give you the point. Infamous Second Son.
Yeah.
And the reason it was a meme is because it was also the thumbnail of tonight's show.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I already thought that, but then I thought, actually, I don't remember the name of the game. So, yeah, you got it.
We had a pretty close ending there, guys. So, Joe finished on 3 points, but tonight's winner on 4 points is Marty. Well done, Marty.
Well done.
Well done, Joe.
And then if we go over to chat, I can say Turner has correctly answered Crypt of the Necro Dancer. Congratulations.
Nice, dude. Turner. Very nice.
Isn't it Necromancer?
Necro Dancer. This is the yeah, Necro Dancer.
Oh yeah. I thought it was Mancer.
Well, there's the high
Zelda
roll
one
one.
as well.
Yeah. Maybe that one is. I don't really know. I think I own that game though. Pretty sure about
You
that.
guys got any pickups to show off or anything cool to show off tonight?
Yeah, I've got some. Do you want to go first, or have you got anything, Joe? Or
I haven't got too much, so I'll get him out of the way.
Let's do it. You go ahead, Figs.
So I'm always wondered what I'm going to show you guys every 2 weeks. So I've decided I'm going to go through my whole collection, starting with the PS1. We're going to do 5 games podcast. So we're starting in alphabetical order from my PS1 collection. We seen this one a couple of days ago. It is 007 Racing. One of my I would say nostalgically favorite games because I played it when I was a kid. Cool fact about this game is the number plate's actually a cheat code in the game, and it's on the front cover.
Wow. Awesome.
Which I thought was really cool. Moving on, the second game in the collection. I basically have a rule with the PS1. If a game is $10 and it's complete black label, I pick it up for the collection because in Australia, PlayStation 1 games are pretty hard to come across. I believe this one fell under that category. So here we have 100% star. Now, what's interesting about this game is it has an original sticker from a place called The Warehouse, which sold basically like a Crazy Clark's, or just sold basically general goods cheaper than supermarkets and stuff. But they also sold video games, and they've been closed for about 15 years. So it's kind of cool to have their sticker on one of my games. Next one is Adidas Power Soccer 98. Not really much I can say about this one.
That's pretty good. Pretty good game.
Never played that one. I played International Superstar Soccer, so I can't really comment.
Yeah, that was another level.
Yeah. This is This is one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh, that's like the arcadey version, isn't it? Because like they had on because the Nintendo ISS was different to the PlayStation one, wasn't it? The PlayStation one was more realistic, and the Nintendo ones were more arcadey, and that version is from the arcadey side, isn't it? Because they changed the name of International Superstar Soccer to Pro Evolution Soccer, didn't they?
Yeah,
and they started out on the PS1.
Me and my brother loved that game, and like that was the game that got us into soccer. You know, like I fell in love with the Brazilian team and Chelsea and everything from playing this game. So it's cool. And I watch football every week. Here we have an Australian exclusive, AFL 99.
Cool. Awesome.
And then the last PS1 game we're seeing today is the most exciting of the bunch. It's a horror title, and this one's in really nice condition. It is Alone in the Dark, the new Nightmare.
Awesome.
There's a new Alone in the Dark coming out this year, I think.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Remember that one that came out for the 360?
Yeah, we got it on the PS3 as well. Alone in the Dark.
That was awful, wasn't it?
Probably. I never played it.
The whole franchise is a little questionable, if you ask me. But
I think it was kind of an attempt to reboot the series, like make it more modern, and they totally failed. It got absolutely slammed critically.
Yeah.
And I think I played it, and I gave up on it because it was crap. So, yeah.
I got one more. This is a PS3 limited edition. It's pretty rare. So it is Far Cry 4, the Blood Ruby edition on PS3. Now, this was only sold in a store in Australia called JB Hi-Fi. And the way it worked is JB Hi-Fi stores all got a certain amount of copies of the PS4 version only. And if you wanted the PS3 version, you had to pre-order it. If you didn't pre-order it, the store got the PS4 version. So there was only a certain amount of these that were pre-ordered. So people that own this basically pre-ordered it back in the day. There's not many that have ever shown up for sale. So it's a very rare collector's edition. I've seen like 4 or 5 of them. It's in nice condition.
That's really cool.
Nice.
You want to go next, Joe? Marty?
Yeah, I'll go. I don't have a lot of stuff. So basically, I don't know what's wrong with me, but these are up for sale. I don't know if you saw these on eBay. They are pretty cheap. I got myself a nice sealed copy.
Yeah, nice.
Of the Nightfall. So I haven't opened one, but I did want to get a nice sealed copy. And I had ordered this from them, and it showed up crushed and damaged. So this is the second attempt, and this one actually showed up nice. It's not crushed, it's not damaged. Disc isn't loose or anything. So yeah, I grabbed the Nightfall, the UK PEGI version. There's also the German USK version too, which I'm wondering if the German USK version is actually going to become the rarer one. Curious.
I doubt
probably
it.
Would. It would, because the PEGI is European wide. It's not just the UK. The USK is just for Germany, but the rest of Europe gets PEGI. German one's different because they've got stricter rules, basically, so they don't all turn into Nazis again. So they really limit blood and stuff like that. I don't know how bad it is now, but they used to just in older games that all blood would be green. They'd never have blood in their games or anything.
Can you imagine getting shitty video games your whole life because of some bullshit people did 100 years ago?
And in terms of collectability, like collectors in Germany don't mind getting the UK copies of games, but people say in the UK don't want German versions of games. So
yeah.
I believe it.
I couldn't think of one instance where the German version is the expensive version of a video game, unless the game's been banned.
Well, I can give you one example, but it's only because of there's been on the Wii U. There's been a couple of German-only releases that you could only buy on Amazon Germany. So
the ones that
Lego
are
Star Wars
exclusive's different. Though, say it had a UK version, it's not going to be like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Speaking of the exact same thing, I picked up the sealed version of Space Blaze.
I've been meaning to pick them up, but it's been 3 months now. They're still the same price, so I'm like,
they say they only have like 12 of these left or some shit like that, or they were getting low on these. And this
but there's now multiple vendors on eBay who all have them for the same price.
Oh,
You know.
I wonder why. They must have just reprinted them.
No, how it works is people, this game is $300. Let me buy 20 copies. And they realize, oh, shit, now we need to get rid of them all. And then eventually the prices all go down. Everyone sells them for the same price.
Well, I have I was only able to get the German USK version of this. I actually didn't have the Peggy regular one. So I'm actually pretty pleased. So I have a sealed copy of this, and I have the sealed the Nightfall, and then I have an open copy of each if I ever actually feel like playing either of them. Which Space Blaze sucks balls, just so you know. It's freaking terrible. Nightfall is actually decent.
Oh, okay.
No, it's all right. For a horror game, it's all right. It's not, my bar is pretty low. What I expect from a horror game. But, yeah.
It looks like it's up again. It would suck.
Yeah. And then I got some DVDs, dude. I got Waterworld, finest film ever made, bros.
Cool.
Like $9. I bought it off Amazon, and it took them like a month to send it to me. Like it kept
Is it
updating.
Blu-ray?
It's 4K Blu-ray, yeah, Ultra HD.
Cool.
Yeah,
I just wrote down on a piece of paper Eden Flames because I love that band, but I haven't listened to them for years, and they're not in my regular playlist anymore because I just haven't searched them and keep wearing their shirts. So I've just written them down just to look them up after the show.
Yeah, dude, these shirts are mad. Like this was from Sounds from a Playground Dying. I don't even remember. I think this one came out or something. Or Sense of Purpose. I think this is a Sense of Purpose. Either way. Yeah, they're dope. I like their old stuff. The new stuff's okay. So they had that one really bad album, Battles. Ugh, man, is that rough.
Honestly say I haven't heard them for 8 years. So
all right, so all you really got to do is listen up to the first 4 albums. That's really all you really need, and then that's pretty much it. But so that would be, what is it? Horacle, Jester Race, Horacle, Colony, Sounds from Clayman. And the first 5 albums. Those are the good ones, and everything else is like whatever. Anyway,
that Green Day just put a new album out.
Yeah, boy do I not give a crap. Who gives a crap about Green Day? Freaking jerk. Who wants to watch a punk band that's like the most corporate approved punk band of all time? Like the most polished, clean. Like, what do they rebel against? What, their Starbucks orders? Like, what a bunch of losers.
It'd be like going to a rock show and seeing Nickelback,
They're the most like pro-authoritarian, anti-authoritarian music I've ever heard in my life. What a joke. Anyway, I remember I told you I got this when these finally showed up. I got the sequels. Hey, Zombie Inc. is the best metal, dude. I learned that was one of the first things I learned how to play guitar back in the day. That shit's so good, dude. I can actually play that. And then I fucking got my last 2 Star Wars I was missing, so now I have all of them. So showed these off last time, but I got all 6 of these now, so that makes me happy. This is actually really
every Star Wars movie ever made, right there.
Well,
full stop.
All the real ones.
No.
Yeah, if you want to piss people off, I always say yeah, I have all 6 of them, and then you say the Disney trilogy, Han Solo movie, Rogue One, and the Christmas special. It's the worst ones. Yeah, Green Day is a joke. I like actual punk music. I used to listen to. I'm way out of it now, but I used to listen to 15, Anti-Flag, and old AFI and stuff like that. Green Day was always a joke. Even back in the day, they were never considered like a real punk band. They're just a joke. They're like the Offspring. That's not real punk. It's a joke. Anyway, sorry.
Your Contagious Jed Turner said he's been buying 4K Blu-rays as well.
Dude, I'm not. Did you see Gaming Off the Grid just put out a video? They're like, 4K DVD collecting is the future. Everybody's got to be doing. I'm like, see, I'm on the hype train. Everybody. Once they announced they were pulling them out of the stores, like everybody was like, well, shit. And then that's the real thing. It's like, I just don't want to be stuck. It's the FOMO. It's FOMO hitting, like me and everybody else. It's like I don't want to be stuck down the line. Like, for example, these Star Wars movies, 4 of them are really easy to find, and they're like $20. But Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi, those are like $40-$50, and they're sold out everywhere, and they're like really hard to find. And I'm like, I just don't want to be in a situation where I'm paying like $100 to get a fucking copy of the Return of the Jedi or some bullshit. So I don't know. I would buy that stuff now just because it's on its way out. And if you care about owning it, you know, get it while you still can. Put it that way.
Yeah. Shall I show you mine?
Yeah.
I've got.
You're not gonna top Waterworld, boy. I'm just kidding.
Well, I've got nothing new to show, so I just looked around prior to this podcast. I thought, what can I find interesting? And I thought I'll have a little bit of a theme going. I've got some interesting Australian things to show, so I thought and he's gone. So, I'll tell you what. I'll show you the American stuff I got for you.
He's having a coughing fit or something.
Right. Okay. So you said you're a ball fan, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I don't know exactly when someone's in America says you like ball. I don't know what they're talking about, so I'm going to assume it's any ball.
What the fuck are you saying? Ball fan?
Baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah. Have
We
you
just
not
say
heard that
sports
joke?
fans. We don't call them. No. If you say you're a ball fan, that means you like man testicles. That's what that means in America.
No. It's a sports. How have you never heard of that?
We don't say it. We don't
You've
say
not
it.
heard that before. It is. It's
You
an
don't
American.
say
thing.
that.
I've heard it before, and I'm not American.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
people could be a baller. There are phrases that I've heard, but
Okay,
I've never-
baller.
if you say, "Are you a ball fan?" That's not what
You
that
like
means.
ball? I'm sure I've heard that. You like ball? Which ball? Anyway.
All right. You know what? I'm like not into sports, so maybe I'm just.
Okay, so Joe, I heard you like ball.
That's true. You've heard it.
How
I
about this
love
ball?
balls.
Let's
Wow.
go.
So this is a memory card for the Nintendo 64.
What?
That's
That's
kinda
cool.
Shaped like a baseball.
That is
So-
kind of cool.
I just acquired that somehow. Someone was just selling them really cheap when I bought a pack of N64 games.
It has to be NTSC, not PAL, right?
Yeah, but it won't matter because they're not region locked memory cards.
Okay, that's
And the other one, American football.
Yo, pigskin.
that's so good.
Some nice
You're a
balls
ball
you got
fan.
there, friend.
Thanks, man. You're a ball fan, huh?
Big
I
ball
knew Joe
fan.
would like them. So yeah, imagine that sticking out of your controller. It's massive.
That would be funny, dude, with the rumble pack.
Big
That thing
balls.
sticking out.
I have the big ball.
Mm-hmm.
Big balls.
Those are cool.
Right. Next. Okay, so now I'll go to my Australian collection stuff. This is something on the Wii U that I bought recently that I did not know
Animal Crossing.
existed. It's
Nice.
this version of Animal Crossing on the Wii U. The reason what's different about this, I never knew this was different to the European version. But I'll just get the other one out. This is the European version, so looks the same, yeah. But they're different sizes. So if you look at the thickness,
Oh yeah.
so they got the same content. Two amiibos, but they're just different sizes. And this doesn't have a top flap either. So, I thought I was done with the Wii U, and then I saw this. Like, oh god, there's another variant of this game. So I've got to get that.
I got something to let you know. So we had a gentleman on our show a couple of weeks ago, Chris from France, and he's just like yourself, mad Wii U collector, has absolutely everything, including like the Assassin's Creed black box and you name it. He showed us one of those amiibo packs. I think it was from France or
I
Germany.
think it was from France, and it only had one of them.
It only had one in it, and it didn't have the other one, and it was a variant.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah, there we go.
That's the one.
Yeah.
This is really rare. Yeah, this is the other European ones. There's 2 European ones. This one's rare and worth a lot of money. This one, you couldn't give it away. Because it was the only version. There was no single version. So, every game had a single game plus a big box version. But this was only a big box version. And it sold piss all. They were trying to shift them for like £15 very early on. And they just no one was buying them. You could get them everywhere for dirt cheap. But this one, this one's a rare one. So I don't remember where it was released. Oh, USK, maybe it's. Oh no. It's that doesn't mean it's German because all these big boxes have a USK label on. Must be because they just release them in every region. They don't make a specific version because every game inside these big boxes. I don't know whether you know on Nintendo games they have the green. They have a triangle on the bottom left of the spine. They have a coloured triangle, and that tells you what country or region it's from. So in the UK, it's a green triangle on the corner. So whenever I get a game, I always try to get the green triangle version. But every country has its own colour. But there's a purple one is Europe. Just the Europe version, so they can distribute it to all the countries, and that's what all the games in the big boxes. They're all the purple triangle versions because they don't make them specifically for a country because they just want to distribute them.
The 3DS is the same, right? With the triangle.
Yeah. They started with the GameCube. That's where it first started. Okay. So. Yeah, so
we didn't get it.
There's all sorts of colours.
Have our little colours ratings.
Correct. Yeah, you don't get them in Australia. You just got the big.
The big stickers.
It's just your rating, the G rating, wherever you call it.
Yeah,
the massive giant.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Can you see it, guys? Is that big enough?
Right, so another Australian exclusive, which was I bought this second to last, which I never knew about. I'd already completed the Wii U collection, thinking I'm done. I've got the most hardest games, but then I found out this existed.
We seen this one 2 weeks ago. I love it.
Did you? It's just come out of the woodwork. Then that's why.
We've got 2 hardcore Wii U collectors back to back.
Both mad excited about it too.
I did not know about this. I bought it new. One of the games wasn't sealed, so that was annoying. So I had to buy another one that was sealed from Australia, and it cost me loads. Just a normal version. I don't even know if it was supposed to be sealed inside this because Australian sealed games.
Well, yeah, in Australia, a lot of our games are just sold open. Even brand new games are not sealed. And like I try and get my new Pokemon games sealed. The last ones just weren't sealed, brand new. I pre-ordered them. Every single copy was open. It's like
that's so bad. Even online, when you buy them online.
That's how they came. They came open.
That's frustrating, dude.
I mean, in the UK, if you buy them from a retail shop, physical, they always open them because they keep the discs in the back, and they put the cases in the front so every person can stick their dirty, grubby fingers all over your new game.
And then they give you the wrong one and call it new.
Oh God, yeah, that's happened before. The wrong game. Oh, that's such a pain.
And then completely. Sometimes when you bring it back,
I refuse to buy any new games from GameStop. I will not buy anything new. I'll buy used games from them all day and trade in games and stuff.
Yeah.
I will not buy anything new because it's just like, it's not sealed. It's been used. It's like the missing stuff. It might not even have an original case. It's a joke. Their definition of new is quite different than mine.
If there's like a soundtrack or, a manual in a game, their policy is to take it out and put it in a different section of the drawer. And all it takes is another employee to be like, here's the game. It's got the disc. That's all. You walk out. Suddenly the special edition is stuck in the drawer and probably gets thrown out. This happens all the time.
The other thing as well, lots of people don't know how to care for discs, do they? So you could get some employee, doesn't give a crap. He's been sweating all day, just had a sandwich, and then he picks up your disc, thumb on the read side, got a big thumb mark on it. Then stick it in the case. Find where the middle is. I've seen this before. They don't actually just look for the middle and place it in exactly where the middle is. They slam it down, find it by feel, scratching the CD in the process.
I think they're Blu-rays.
It's like, no, there's no standards. They haven't got training. Like, you must pick up a disc like this. You must place it properly because people care. It's just, do what you want. Get it out of the drawer, shove it in.
There's a guy that works in one of my
price,
and he loves doing this. I didn't even do it hard. He slams the cases down, and I hate it. I put my games on the counter, and I see him about to do it, and I'll pull them away and hold them.
Oh God!
Why are you slamming my game? That's mine. I'm about to pay for it. It's not yours anymore.
Jesus, with big dirty hands.
I think the worst game I ever got. One time I ordered a new Switch game from them, and it literally came. I got the cardboard box, and inside of it was a CD sleeve with the card in it. And that's what I got. That was my new game. It was just like a CD sleeve, like for a PlayStation game, with a Switch card in it, inside a cardboard box. No manual, no nothing, no case, not even the case for the game, no artwork, no nothing. That was new. I was just like, okay. That was the last time I literally bought anything from GameStop. I haven't bought anything since.
Oh my God, that's awful. I mean, I understand where the CD sleeve is. That's probably where they keep the games in, because they always used to put the discs in CD sleeves to keep them in a drawer. So they probably do the same for the Switch. But some idiot just gave you the full thing. He was probably new, wasn't he?
I ordered it online, and the store came to my house, and then I had to return it to the store.
Online. Oh my God.
And then the people were like, well, we consider anything new, even if it's not sealed, and blah, blah, blah. And I just was like, okay, well, I disagree. And I like my money back.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I'm like, I just will not purchase new games from you. If that's what if this is what you think is an acceptable new game, then I just won't shop here. I'm like, I'm not giving you a hard time. Go ahead, knock yourself out. You want to sell games like this? That's fine. People want to buy them like that. They're happy with this. Totally cool with that. I'm out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
See you later, dude.
I've never bought a game online. It's not been sealed. A new one.
Oh yeah.
Here, they're always sealed, and
that didn't happen one time, by the way. I had like multiple times, because I would only buy on GameStop. They'd have some crazy good deals. They'd be like, some really good deals. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll buy these games. But then I realized the reason they're such good deals is they're just selling used crap and pretending it's new. Like, this isn't new. You're lying. God. It's just not new.
Yeah.
Going back on what you just said, Joe, how their policy is, even if it's just a disc, it's still new. Their policy for pre-owned is just as insane. If you trade in sealed games, they look at them like they're pre-owned, and they sell them like they're pre-owned. They're sealed games, and they're selling them as pre-owned. Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember when I went to a trading store. It's called CEX in the UK. It's probably not anywhere else. But right, okay. So I went in Sony. They used to give us free games, new games, and they gave me Little Big Planet once, and I used to keep them, but for some reason I decided to take this to CEX and get the money for it instead. And I said to him, I gave it to the counter, brand new. I said, how much will you give me for this? He grabs it off me, opens the seal, checks the contents, looks online. He goes, I'll give you £15. It's like, you fucking kidding me? It's just come out. It's 50 quid.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's open.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe it. I was so annoyed.
Oh, I would have killed them for opening.
Yeah.
Their policy is they have to open them because they don't want people faking seals and trading in games.
Yeah.
Which I can kind of understand,
But I asked him for the price first. I asked him how much he'd give me for it. And he proceeded to open it.
Yeah, no, I'd rather do business on Marketplace or something myself. I just, I'll deal with the inconvenience.
There is a way to make those shops work. For example, GameStop
for used games
clearance
is great.
of a $30 game, it goes $5, but CEX have a trade-in price of $15. So you buy all the $5 copies, you sell them all for $15. You can make it work for yourself. But
Hmm.
they usually adapt their prices to eBay or trends after a couple of months, so they catch on to that stuff pretty quickly.
It's such a lottery buying from CEX online.
CEX lottery.
They don't take any pictures of what the second-hand games, so they do all the
Have you looked
all the
recently?
console games. Sorry?
Have you looked recently?
No.
So what they've started doing is they've started selling things advertised, complete with artwork and manual, complete with artwork, no manual, disc only,
Right.
and they're all different prices.
Finally.
Yeah, it's only
Finally.
taken 15 years.
Yeah. Because in the past it was always, it's boxed or not boxed. Here's the box price. You buy it. It comes to you. No manual. Box is crushed to hell. And then you send it back at their cost. So they must have made such a loss. Because
I returned so many games through CEX. So many games. It was insane.
You take the chance and just think the same game could be recycled constantly.
It would be.
Because of the condition. Just they send it out, it's crap, I don't want it. Send it back, and they do it again. Send it to someone else, it's crap, I don't want it. And I bet even the same person would end up buying the same copy of the game because they don't know how many copies they've got. So it might
especially when it comes to rare games that are expensive, because people are willing to risk. Oh, this is a game I've been after for 3 years. I'll take the chance on that.
Yeah.
Like, they're hoping on the whole one person who gets it and doesn't return it and just keeps it.
And it's terrible business strategy. But they were doing it for so many years and no one clicked. Like, you're spending loads on postage. First for posting it out, and then for receiving the item back. So, like, how they get any profit from the games if they're just spending it all on postage? I've had
a lot of good stuff I bought from CEX though. A lot of uncommon
titles. By
titles,
chance, isn't it?
But yeah, you're right. It's like you buy 10 games, 8 of them rock up complete. You got to return 2.
Yeah, and it also depends on who the person packaging is, because they might respect games and put them in a box with bubble wrap and everything, or they might not have a clue that these are valuable games and just put them in a cardboard envelope or something, which I've had. Like the Amazon letter envelope ones, just a cardboard envelope, flat. You receive it. The game's been completely crushed.
That's what I had to do with these 2 games. I ordered both of these from that online seller, and they both showed up damaged, and I returned them both. And I wrote them on eBay, and I was like, "Hey guys, I would love to buy games from you, but could you ship them to me in something stronger than tissue paper because they keep showing up completely damaged and broken?" I'm like, I can't see how this is profitable for you guys to ship out broken games that get returned, and I don't want to keep having to buy them hoping they show up good. So I was like, I said to them, I'm like, I want to buy these 2, and I bought another game from them. I'm like, I'll give you extra money if you put them in a box for me. And they were like all embarrassed. They're like, no, we won't. We'll ship to you nice. You don't have to pay anything extra. And so these 2 showed up in an envelope still, which pissed me off. But they actually took the time to put some freaking bubble wrap in there to protect them, which is like 5 cents, a nickel's worth of bubble wrap. Like, come on, dude. Like if you're somebody who has like 5 games you're selling on eBay and you're never going to sell anything again, I don't care what you do. But if you're like a claim to be someone who sells games on eBay, you should be able to throw some freaking bubble wrap. I mean, I sell like 5-6 games a year, dude. And guess what? I have a fucking thing of bubble wrap. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
It depends on the item too. If you're selling a $5 sport game, no one cares. But if you're selling collectible sealed games, the person buying them is probably buying them because they're collectible sealed games and they want them in the condition.
But to be fair, it is pretty standard for a new game to come in a jiffy bag, a bubble wrap package rather than a box. No one sends modern games boxed. So I don't really blame them for sending it to you in how they did, because everyone does that. It's really just the old games that people should know that these are prone to getting damaged, especially the cardboard games. So you need to box them up. Newer games, they are sturdier, they are stronger, and they do tend to make it through the post.
The best. Have you seen? There's like these like cardboard sleeve things I've got my games in, and those seem to be the best. They're like not bubble wrap, and they're like they're semi sturdy. I get them from Europe all the time. Like from like Rare Waves uses them, and a few other companies. They're the
But
best.
they're skinny, like they're tiny. Yeah,
they're still skinny and they're still cheap, and but like they're sturdy. Like I don't know what it is, but like if I get my games in those things, they're fucking fine. But when people just use the regular bubble mailers, first of all, the disc is always loose. 100 and 110% of the time. If it's in a bubble mailer, that thing's been shaken around, flipped around. It's always a loose disc, which is fine because I know how to fix that. But like it's way more likely to be damaged if it comes in with those stupid little wrappers.
Well, Joe, from the other hand, in Australia, so from my perspective as a seller, it costs me $2.40 to send a game in one of those bubble mailers. But if I do want to send a game in a box, it's $10.80 or something. So it's like a significant price difference. So I'm only sending those games like $40 and up in boxes. Or if someone's doing an order where it's 4 or 5 games and I can combine it.
I don't need a box. I just need a piece of 5 cents worth of bubble wrap. Wrap the game and then put it in the bubble mailer, and then that makes it okay.
So the limit here is 2 centimeters. And if you put bubble wrap around the game and put it in one of these, it's like 2.5. So
same here.
You're paying $10. Yeah, so the mailer and the game is the maximum limit.
Your mailing just must be a pain in the ass thing because I don't have those issues here.
Same here, Joe. It's the same here.
I don't have any problems.
We get a letter size. It's got to be.
Post office. I'll be right back.
I could prepay for a label. And as long as I give that guy that label, it could be in an envelope, a box. It doesn't matter. It goes by weight.
Oh, right.
You don't give a shit how big it is. It just goes
by
weight. Unless I'm assuming if I brought in like a giant ass box, I'm sure that would be an issue. But like, I've never had anybody charge me more or give me a hard time because I put some bubble wrap in my thing.
This thing here for a letter gauge, and if it doesn't fit through there, they won't allow it. So like, these are the bubble
got something similar. Yeah. So same here. If you
right there, it's there's no gap, so it's literally the maximum it can be. So if you've got bubble wrap, whack it in there.
So you'd have to pay $10 for that, wouldn't you?
You'd have to pay $10, and if you're selling a game for $10, there's no point.
Yeah, we've got that thing. There's a little scale, and he just puts it on the scale, and he goes, okay, boop, boop, doop, and then that's it.
America's different. And then Joe's people in America aren't paying. So Joe can get angry when he knows that, it's the same price. So it's completely different.
Yes, I could understand if it goes from a $2 to $10 fee to ship it. I understand that. But to me, in my mind, I'm like, you're just freaking, dude, put some tissue paper in it. God's sake.
It's like
I have a $10 option in a box or free as a bubble mailer,
When people send an N64 game in a bubble mailer, they think they're saving price. They think they're saving money, but they're not. You may as well stick it in a box because you're going to pay the same postage price because it's the size of an N64 game is too thick to then that 2.5 centimeter limit. So they may as well put it in a box. And I've said to them before, like I always tell people send it in a box. Whenever I buy off eBay, I always message them, please send it in bubble wrap and in a strong box, because most of the time you won't get it if you don't ask. And but people don't realize how easy it is. You can get any box, like even a cereal box or something, and just put the mailer inside there. You don't need to have the bubble wrap. Just put the mailer in it. I mean, because that's enough protection.
It has bubble wrap in it. Yeah, exactly.
Or even the opposite, put the box inside the mailer and still send it in the mailer. So, if you want to send it in the mailer, that's fine. Just have a box inside the mailer and my item inside the box.
Yeah. One time when I bought from the CEX, someone had a brilliant idea of, I bought an N64 cartridge, and they put it on a piece of card, and then they put some cling film over it to hold it in place. Then they put it inside a mailer. And, I didn't think it was necessary, but at least it kept it in place and it didn't wobble around. But they also did the same for a boxed game. So they put the box game on top of a piece of cardboard, got cling film, wrapped it over, completely crushed the box, then put it in the mail and sent it to me. It's like, you've just wrecked it yourself, you idiot. Just
Yeah, Marty, 100%. I kid you not. I've had a game like this sent to me in a $2.20 mailer where they've just crushed the box down.
And that would have cost more as well, wouldn't it?
I'm getting a full refund because that's how eBay works. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you just fucked up.
Yeah. It's your responsibility to make sure it gets to the user okay, doesn't it?
It has to get to the user in the same condition that was in the photos.
Exactly. Yeah. And they can't get an insurance refund either from the mailing company because it was their mess up. You've got to make sure you've done everything correct, because if it arrives broken, it's your fault, not the mailing company. I mean, you all sorts of things can happen in transit, can't they? I've seen like bloody massive stab marks with a screwdriver and stuff. Just you need to make as much space as you can away from the edge of the box to avoid anything sharp knocking into it. But anyway, I'll go back to my games. There's still a couple more I wanted to show you.
We got some
so I'll just before I do it, so I've got a full N64 collection, right, boxed. UK releases only, because there's about 5 Australian only releases, and I thought I'm not going for them. They're super expensive because they were only released in Australia. So and one of them was Snowboard Kids 2, and last time I looked, it was £700, and that was a few years ago before the recent price hike.
Yeah,
maybe I'd probably say about 1,000, but I don't know. I haven't checked.
No, last I thought,
oh really? My God. Yeah. But I decided, right, I'm not paying £700 for a game. So yeah, Australian's off limits to me. It doesn't mean anything to me. I wouldn't.
It doesn't exist, as some people say.
Yeah, I did the same with the NES collection. It's like UK releases only.
Can I just interrupt for a second, Mike? Is that UK and Australia? Is that called PAL A or something, or PAL B? Is that how it works?
On the NES, yes. The releases for UK and Australia and Italy are PAL A.
Interesting.
Every other European country is PAL B, and they had slightly different style boxes. But it says on the front PAL A and PAL B on the bottom of the box and also on the cartridge itself. But you can't play PAL A games on a PAL B machine. So I don't know why they separated the regions. And what's really strange as well, because where it says like PAL A and stuff on the cartridge label, some of the early UK ones say Eng/Fre, as in English/French.
Yeah.
So, but France is a PAL B region, so I don't know why they did that. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Early,
trying to advertise to English-speaking French people who don't live in France.
Yeah, but it wasn't French language. It would just say French as well. But
it was like a Canadian.
Again, they wouldn't have worked in Canada. They're NTSC. But
people who lived in Jersey.
Yeah. Well, the original, the first black box NES games, they were the front would say it would be in Italian and English on the box itself. It would be split between Italian and English, but the game inside would be English French, but it wouldn't work in France. So, yeah, it's really messed up. But,
the gentleman we had on a couple of weeks ago, Chris, only collects PAL B, and he's a French collector, so it makes sense.
Right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, and they've got a bigger library, but you can get some games easier with them. So the games I got for the N64, I managed to get Snowboard Kids 2, which is this one.
They both look so nostalgic right now. You're showing me a video game store from like 1998 right now.
Oh, yeah. So actually, it's this one. Right. So what this is, I managed to get this cheap. I got it for £200. Both of these, they are from Blockbuster. So they aren't the original so they're video cases and they cut up the original boxes and put them over the video case and put the sleeves inside, and then just the cartridge inside on its own. No instructions. I don't remember. They might have even cut out some of the instructions and put them on the inside.
Yeah, they used to cut them out and they would glue them on the inside page. And if you rip the instructions off, it would be like a $20 fee.
But I think that's pretty cool because it's rarer than the original Snowboard Kids 2. And I got it super cheap as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Marty, but they were only sold at Blockbuster in Australia, right? They weren't sold retail. Is that how, or was that, am I thinking?
I don't know how they were sold, but did Blockbuster sell complete games?
No, they didn't sell games. They just had them as rentals. But when Blockbuster went out of business, they sold all their video games. So that's how they.
Well, in that case, no, because you can buy the fully boxed versions. They're not.
I might be thinking of an North American.
You're thinking of a Clayman Sculptor's
Clay Fighter. Clay Fighter.
Clay Fighter.
Yeah. That's correct. That's why you can't get a boxed version of Clay Fighter.
And getting a manual is even harder than that.
Yeah. That was a pretty cool one. But I've got one other Australian-only game because it crossed my path by luck. It's some baseball game, maybe Ken Griffey Jr. or something. It never got a UK release.
Doesn't ring a bell at all.
Might not be Ken Griffey, but that's what's coming into my mind.
No, cricket? Just baseball?
No, it was baseball. Yeah.
Okay.
Baseball. Yeah. I've got to say, baseball games in general are bloody awful. Like, I can't think of one that I actually like. What about you, Joe? Since you like ball, you're a ball fan, huh?
I'm a huge fan. You know me. Dude, the best baseball games are on the Neo Geo. Baseball Super.
I know what you mean. Yeah, Bases Loaded.
Bases Loaded, really good. And then it's like, I can't remember the name of it, where you'll play like robotic baseball game. But yeah, I like the baseball games on the Neo Geo CD.
Is that the ones that are like almost like more rhythm games than baseball games?
No, I think you just hit the button when it comes.
It just like super
looks awesome.
Yeah, it just looks rad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the soccer games on the Neo Geo. They're awesome as well because they're just way over the top.
Yeah, they are really cool.
Just loads of fun.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, any sports games that I like are going to lean towards more the arcadey side than like a sim type thing. So if you're like really into baseball and you want to manage a team and you're really into the current league and trading players, I'm sure that the new games are better than the Neo Geo games. But for me, I like the arcadey stuff. I prefer that.
Yeah, I can't play a modern basketball game. They are just way too complicated. Mm-hmm. I just can't. I just don't know what to do. It's just that's
how I feel when I play Madden. Like if I play Madden, I'm like, bro, I'm not learning.
I don't understand Madden because I don't understand American football. But it's,
I get it enough. But
sport game, I'd be able to play it. But no.
If I play against someone who knows how to play Madden, I'm getting destroyed. Like I can play my friends who don't know what the hell they're doing or the computer on easy or whatever, but like playing anyone who knows what they're doing, it's so complicated, dude. And there's so much to know. I'm like, nah, I'm just not good at this. I like hockey games though. I do love hockey games.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Games. Even the sim realistic ones, I like them. Either one.
Well, to me, sim ones I still can't get into because I could barely score. But the arcadey ones, I think they're absolute loads of fun. Even the 3-on-3 ones and stuff. Yeah, NHL hits.
The GameCube one is the one that's so good because you could play 3-on-3 in that one. I think the PS2 one you could only do 2-on-2. I think. Could be wrong about that.
Nagano Winter Olympics on the N64. That's a 3-on-3 hockey game. That's really good. That's one of my
so
favorite
fun.
games.
Yeah, dude, I love hockey games. Yeah, those are just good times.
Brilliant.
I love FIFA. Always have, and I find there's so many people out there that you can just pick up and play FIFA, and it doesn't matter how many years you've had break, you just remember how to play it.
I'll tell you what's a funny game to play in when you're playing a local co-op. I mean, I always love to pick up a football game because an old one, an arcade style one, and we all don't know the controls. We're all working out the controls at the same time. I absolutely love those games because no one knows the way to score.
Yeah,
because there's always one way to score on those games, and you just end up repeating the same thing over and over, and winning 20-0 because you just know that one way that always goes in.
That's on hockey games. That's what always happens. Is I figure out some cheesy ass one timer that always works, and you just keep doing it over and over and over.
With hockey games, it's pretty much universal with hockey games. It's pass it across the keeper, and the other person whacks it in.
One time.
It's always like go to the side, hit it across, the other person whacks it into the corner. Yeah, it's pretty much.
I mean, FIFA used to be like that up until the modern one, where you could always do the 2 players break through, and then you press triangle to give it to the other player, just as the goalkeeper's there, and it's always a goal. Where in real life that doesn't happen.
Yeah. One other type of game which I love playing is wrestling games where no one knows the controls.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Or like UFC.
Everyone's just mashing the buttons. And then for some reason, one person is absolutely dominating.
Yeah, and then
you don't know why. You're both mashing.
And then you're like, oh my God, you just gave me a diamond cutter. How did you do that?
and then so someone's got full energy, someone's got 0 energy. And then you get to that point where no one knows how to pin. It's like,
finish it.
How do you pin? How do you pin?
You just keep trying to like do submissions, and you're like, "Stop! I'm trying to pin," and you just put them in a submission.
And everyone's out of energy
every time. Or pick them up. Yeah, I don't want to pick them up. I want to pin him.
What I love about that, Marty, is it gets to the point where both people are that hurt that it doesn't matter if you've dominated for the last half an hour. The other person has to pin you once, and you lose.
Whoever figures it out first, exactly.
Or they catch up. They have enough time to catch up and knock your energy down when you deleted their energy like 10 minutes ago. They just get the odd punch in.
I'd always try and take someone out of the ring and do like hit them at 7 seconds and then run back in the ring, and they get timed out because they're just laying there for another couple of seconds.
The cheese.
Wrestling games are so much fun.
They really
wrestling games went to shit. The last couple have been brilliant. They've come back WWE.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last 2 WWE games, especially the last one, was absolutely brilliant.
The N64 ones are renowned for being really good.
Yeah.
Games. I used to play that WCW versus NWO.
Revenge.
A lot.
Baby.
Yeah, Revenge. Yeah.
That was my favorite. A lot of people like No Mercy the best, but I always liked Revenge.
What I like about those games, they are actually skill-based. There's no cheesing. Mm-hmm. There's no, whoever's fastest on the button. That, it's all based on strategy. Yeah, and you know exactly what you're doing. I found when I was playing the PlayStation WWF games that it was kind of like I wasn't 100% doing what I wanted to do. It's kind of like you might pull it off, you might not.
I definitely feel once you get good, you are really good at those games. It does have the whole like skill base, but you're right though. It has the whole like spam the X button to get out of it and all that shit.
Yeah. So wrestling games they are funny. They're always a good laugh.
There's I've talked about it before, but there's a new I think it's called WWF Legends, and it's like a new game
is it the
based
one with
off
the big head
engine. No. This is it. This is basically a new game that they made using the N64 games engine, and then they added the roster from like every single wrestler you would want from like 1980 to like 2000 or something like that. It's got the every wrestler you would ever want in it. And it's on Steam. It's not
That's
like a physically
amazing.
released game or anything. It's just a digital game. It's like a hacked game or something like that. But it's supposed to be like the best, dude. So if you're really into the
Are they
N64 games, I'd recommend checking it out.
are they licensed or are they modded the wrestlers? 'Cause
For
you said
sale
they pick all the wrestlers.
legally. So I'm assuming
Well,
it's
well,
licensed, but I
well,
don't
what
know.
I'm saying is like, are they already in the game and have been
Or do you have
licensed
to-
by the
or do you have to
company,
make
or
them?
can you just
Yeah.
mod? Just download some mods that people have made.
It's probably that. It's probably that. Because a lot of the times you have to create the person that you want and stuff like that. So I bet it's like that where you have to. Yeah. And I
I've
mean,
made a mod to download every blah 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 that you can import into the game, and there would be step-to-step guides on how to do it and things like that.
Mr. Perfect will come after you if you put him in a game and you don't pay him. So, you know what I mean? Ted DiBiase, he wants to get paid. You better not put him in a game without paying him.
Yeah. Right.
What you got?
So the next game. Well, this is my last game I want to show you. This is nothing
got
special,
Nights.
really. It's Christmas Night.
Okay.
I'll just explain what it is. This was basically a demo game of Nights that came free in magazines. And it's basically just the first level of Nights, but it's themed on Christmas. So the graphics are all changed around Christmas. I'm not sure if you have to play on Christmas Day to get that theme, because I know the theme changes if you play on New Year's Day. So this is something I was going to play this Christmas, because I recently played the original Nights. This was my first time I played a playthrough of it. I've dabbled in it before, but I never understood the game. And to be honest, it took me a long time to understand the game this time. I had to really read through the guides. Thanks for that, Sega Saturn. Oh, he's my friend. I know this guy. So it's in the Japanese bundles as well. But yeah, the original game is really obscure. I had to read guides just to understand how to play it. It's so weird the way you have to get a certain amount of score, the way that you build up your score. It's just not intuitive at all. It's not like a case of try and do it as quickly as possible, try and get the time bonus and all that. It's just very strange how it plays. Nothing like any other game. But yeah, I tried to play this over Christmas and it didn't work. So yeah, and this.
Is it expired or something?
It was from someone that I already bought from. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a bit of something at the top there. I don't know if that's disc rot or something, but that's the first time I've ever seen disc rot in real life. I've always heard the warnings for years, like, oh, your games are going to break, they're going to have disc rot. I've been going through my Saturn games and all of them have worked. Every game has worked from that era, except for this. But
are you going to try and clean it through a machine or something?
Yeah, and I have actually got a professional disc cleaning machine, which I have already tried, but I need to get some new pads so I can try them again. But I don't think it's going to work because of that thing that looks like disc rot. But this isn't a game that I had myself. I bought it in a bundle once with someone who didn't really look after the discs. So, but I am surprised this is the only one after all this time. After all the warnings. I don't know if you guys have heard about it before.
We've heard about it. I haven't. I've seen games that I've bought that have had disc rot because I left them out in the sun and blah blah blah, and I've seen disc rot on CDs and games before, but I've never had a game from my collection have disc rot.
Yeah, but they do last a long time as well. So it's a good job that they do, because it's always been on the back of my mind. Are these games going to be worthless one day?
Is there an expiry date on our games?
Yeah, I mean there is. Technically is. They're all going to succumb someday.
All at different times, because if you look after yours in good humidity and without sunlight, it's going to last a hell of a lot longer than someone who doesn't. And it's going to be worth more because people will be looking for games in that condition in a certain amount of time and different things like that.
Yeah, I believe Blu-rays are supposed to last longer. I might be remembering this wrong, but
No, I've heard the same. CDs are going to have this where Blu-rays are meant to last longer. But,
yeah,
it's one of those things that we don't really know until the future to see how things turn out.
Yeah, and the disc cleaning machine as well. That takes a layer off the disc, so you've only got a certain amount before it gets through to the data layer. So you can't keep cleaning the discs, and I assume once you've done it once or twice, they're probably going to die out quicker than fully skinned games.
Yeah, I've got a disc cleaner too, and I've saved countless games, but I've also had games that kind of work, and then I've cleaned them enough times, and now they don't work. And it's like, oh, well,
yeah.
I had to save that one, couldn't save him.
I'll tell you what, though, I've got a pretty decent disc cleaner. I've not really seen the benefits of it. It's not that good, but I've seen what a professional disc cleaner can do, because there used to be companies where you could send off your discs. And I remember I bought Street Fighter 4 for the Xbox 360, and my mum walked into the room and she tripped on a cable and knocked the Xbox over. This was on the first day it was released. Knocked it over, and the laser burnt a massive line into the disc, and the disc was ruined.
Consoles, yeah.
Yeah, so I sent it off to a disc cleaning company, and it came back perfect, absolutely perfect. So, but these machines, they cost thousands, and there's no value in them now, is there? You're not going to spend thousands to clean a couple of games.
And I didn't buy mine until I had a tub of games that was like $1,000 worth of scratch games, and the machine was like $600, so it paid for itself, and it did. It generally did, because it was all eBay stock.
Yeah.
But it was all like Mario Karts and Mario Parties and Mario this and Sonic that and Zelda this, Wii games, or mainly Wii and 360, because you don't get scratch Blu-rays, which is pretty cool.
Is that true? Yeah, they don't scratch.
I wouldn't say they don't scratch, but if you ever get like $1 PS3 game that's like a Move Sports or something that doesn't, super cheap, grab a screwdriver and give it a go, and you'd be like, oh, that's generally like really hard to scratch these discs. So it's
that's good. I didn't know that. So PS5 games are Blu-ray, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what? With when I got my PS5, I stood it up, put the game in, and it didn't work. I was like, what the hell's going on? I put it in the wrong way. It's just not how you'd expect. I had to Google the correct way to put a disc in, because I wasn't sure whether... I tried both ways. I wasn't sure which was working. It's like, I've never had to do that. It's just not the way you'd expect to put the disc in. When it's down, it makes sense, because the label's on. But when it's standing up, it looks like you're supposed to put it in
the other way,
not away from the.
I know, it's so
console.
Weird. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So that's a weird one. I'm a tech guy as well.
Yeah, PS5. The whole Sony design team is out of their mind this generation. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I do not like how the PS5 looks, or how the Slim looks, or how the Portal looks, or how I just don't like it, dude. You got the Pro to bring it all together, guys. Put out a nice Pro, and
best looking the PlayStation consoles are PS2, and they've only gotten worse since then.
Yeah. I think the PS3 Fat was a sleek looking console. It's just a tank.
Yeah, but it was too big. It was
just
too big.
Tank, but it does look cool. But
yeah. Look, that's cool, but having a George Foreman grill sitting on it, it's just too much.
I love the PS1 Mini and the PlayStation 2 Slim, like the smaller consoles. Both of those, like, I love. Those. I love the PS1 with the screen attachment, like those little ones. Those are freaking.
I really like the PS3 Super Slims, where you can just slide open the case and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the colored ones.
I didn't like them. I thought they were cheap. They felt flimsy.
Yeah, I like that, Marty, because they have less things that can go wrong with them, and I like that.
Yeah,
like
that bigger hard drive.
You're never gonna have a disc stuck in one of those PS3s,
I was
where the disc has got stuck.
Yeah, true. I was pleasantly surprised by how small the PS4 was on release.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot smaller than I expected.
I love the PS4. I think it looks sharp. I think the PS4 Pro looks nice too. It's very simple, but I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you can put things. You shouldn't, but it's flat, so you can put something on top of it. Not that you should.
I mean, it still gets me how insane is the size of the Switch. It's still a tiny console, isn't it? And it's got a screen in there. How the hell does it do all what it does?
It's nice to be able to just sit on your desk, and it's almost like it's not there. I have it in front of a monitor, and it doesn't take away any of the view of the monitor, where the PS5 is behind the monitor because it's bigger than the monitor.
Yeah. Yeah, just think, oh my God, the size difference.
Like having another
I'm just looking at them now.
Yeah.
Just the size difference. You could probably fit, how many, 20, 30 Switches in a PS5? it's that.
Switch minis. Yeah. Get up there.
It's that much difference. So, what they can cram in a Switch is absolutely amazing because there's no way the PS5 is that much more powerful. So,
well, guys, on that way, we might call this one a show. Marty, it's always good to have you on the show, man. Thanks so much for coming back on.
Yeah, man, that was fun.
You're welcome. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good chat.
And if you guys haven't already, jump over to Marty's YouTube channel and drop a sub. I've got the link in the description.
Please do. Thank you.
Yep, and if you're watching the podcast here, make sure you share, and subscribe, and all that stuff here as well.
As always, have a good night,
guys.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Cheers.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting nerds, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. They'll show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh at memes, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the